All right, guys, welcome to the video. This is Kenny here. What we're going to talk about here is the $1 Million Sales Funnel. It's a sales funnel that I created probably late 2007, early 2008. We've been using it ever since then. There have been some minor changes to it, you know, some stuff added, some stuff taken away. But this is basically what we use, really both online and offline. You know, my offline clients basically use the same type of thing. And now we might call the different boxes different stuff in the offline world, but it's basically the same thing. Okay, so we have three basic funnels that we're going to go over in this video. The first one is Warrior Plus, the second one is everything else, and the third one is webinars. And the webinar funnel is not really a sales funnel, it's more of an email campaign that we run. And I'm going to break down and show you each individual email, and as we go through it, I'll explain to you what those emails are and how they work, and a little bit about the psychology behind them and what we're trying to get across. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about before we go in any further, Warrior Plus and everything else. In the beginning, up until, well, not really in the beginning, up until about 2 years ago, they were the same. So we had a webinar funnel and we had a sales funnel, right? But we had to break the sales funnel into two separate parts, Warrior Plus part and everything else part. And the reason why is because for some reason, Warrior Plus tracks conversion rates differently than any other platform out there. And I don't really want to get into the technical aspect of it or, you know, how they do it, because honestly, I don't have any idea. But what I know is that the conversion rate is tracked differently. So if I have upsells and 3 downsells, right? Let's say I have 1 upsell, 3 downsells, second upsell, 3 downsells, third upsell, 3 downsells, right? And I go all the way across and down like that, my visits are going to be like 10 times what they should be. So if you go on like Infusionsoft and you have a visit to your front end offer, your sales page, and then you have a visit to your OTO, then you have a visit to your downsell, and then you have a visit to your upsell and downsell and upsell and downsell, that's tracked as one visit throughout the funnel. Warrior Plus tracks it every time they hit any page in your offer. So the problem with that is if you have a front-end offer in Warrior Plus, and then you have an upsell and a downsell and then another downsell, you already have 4 visits to your funnel. And that one person, even though it's 4 visits, that one person could have only bought one thing. So your conversion rate drops dramatically. And as they go down in a funnel, they're less likely to purchase. As they go across a funnel, they're more likely to purchase. Okay, so once you get the visual aspect of it, you'll understand what that means, and I'll break it down for you as best I can without confusing you. Okay, so let's go into Warrior Plus first. The reason why the Warrior Plus funnel is done this way is because Warrior Plus is what I call ready-made traffic, meaning that no matter what I do, who I am, the product that I'm launching, none of that stuff matters. On Warrior Plus, you can come on as a brand new person. If you have good sales copy, you have a good product, you have a good funnel setup, you can come on as a brand new person, no name, no background, no experience, and you're still going to get a massive joint venture push just from being on that network. That's why it's such a great place for new people to start. I'm not talking about launching WSOs. That's different. That's launching them on the forum, right? I'm talking about a standalone sales page, just putting your offer on Warrior Plus. It's very, very good for beginners to do that, or even people who have experience who just want to capitalize on the JVs that are on there. That's fine too. But if you're brand new, you can have no name, no experience, never launched a product in your life, put something together with the right training and the right guidance and the right support, write good sales copy, have it be a high converting offer in the 9 to 12% range, and you're going to get a massive JV push that'll bring in $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in 7 days. And we have case studies to do that. You know, plenty of people that have been students of ours have done that with just a little bit of help from us, and it's basically like a half hour on Skype or whatever. It's not really that big of a deal. Just a little bit of help from us, and they were able to do that. And we're going to show you that later on tonight in our results video, which is coming up. I'll talk about it later on. Okay, so here's how it works. Number one, we have a sales page. Okay, now I say it, Cameron says it, everyone who knows anything about marketing, sales, business says it. You don't lead traffic to a sales page. Ever, 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 ever. Except on Warrior Plus. Okay? And the reason why is because, again, it's traffic that's going to be there no matter what. I don't have to pay for it. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about getting these people on a list because they're there anyway. I basically, and this goes for anybody, but I basically control the lists of everyone on that network anyway. So why do I need to put them on my list? Because I know that when I go on there and launch a product with Cameron, we're going to get 50, 60, 70 of the top JVs on the forum, on the platform. So why do I need to collect their information? I would rather just lead it directly to a sales page so that I can benefit, so I can give that benefit to the affiliate right away and then only collect the buying audience. It just makes more sense because if I lead it to a squeeze page, no one's going to promote it. Okay? So that's why we do it that way. After the sales page, we usually have one-time offer / upsell, whatever you want to call it, right? We have one of them. And you guys have been through this before, so you know it. Like you've bought this funnel before, so you know it, right? We have the sales page, which is either a video by me or a written piece of copy by me, and then it's, here's all the stuff. You're going to get this, you're going to get that, you're going to get this. Here's the bonuses. You're going to get, lifetime support and 60-day money-back guarantee. Buy the thing now. And it's like a $17 product or a $9 product or a $27 product. Then we have the OTO, which is usually either email coaching or, an over-the-shoulder look of me or Cameron building something out for you so that you can follow the steps and do it with us. Whatever it may be, that's usually the upsell that we use, right? And then after that, we have a webinar. It's very simple. There's really 3 steps. And everyone that's watching this video has been through that. You've seen all of this happen. You've been on a sales page of ours. You've watched the OTO videos or you've seen the OTO copy, and you've been on a webinar or have seen a replay from us, right? You've seen this funnel in action over and over and over again. All of the JV traffic goes directly to the sales page. This is the only time that's ever going to happen. In every other instance, the JV any kind of traffic, doesn't matter, it could be JV traffic, paid traffic, whatever, any kind of traffic is going to be led to a lead magnet because that's where we're going to capture most of our audience. Okay. Now for the big one. You might want to do some meditation or like some deep breathing or something for this one because this is this took me about an hour and a half to animate it on the screen. Forget about creating it. It's pretty crazy. All right, but it's not going to be confusing because it's actually really, really easy to follow. All right, once you create like one part of it, you just keep duplicating it over and over again. So it's pretty simple. Okay, so the first thing that we have is a lead magnet, right? We all know what that is. It's a basic offer that's giving something away for free that provides a benefit. So the example that I like to use is like, the 5 simple steps to losing 20 pounds in the next 20 days without dieting or changing the way or exercising, right? It's the benefit, time frame, minus biggest objection. So again, dieting would be, or losing weight would be how to lose 20 pounds in the next 20 days, benefit, time frame, without changing the way you eat or exercising. Download the free report now, 27-page book, whatever. Then you have some bullet points. You have the opt-in form on the side or on the bottom. You could use a sales video. The process is exactly the same. That's what you're going to use. Okay, that's your lead magnet. Now, let's say somebody says no to a lead magnet, whether it's a Facebook person or a LinkedIn person or a JV, partner or whoever, SEO thing, like whatever it is, it doesn't matter. They say no. Actually, I guess we're going yes first. They say yes, they get led on to our front end offer, which is a one-time offer right after the lead magnet. So it's set up like this. You go to the lead magnet, you put your information in, you click submit, you're instantly led to a video that says, hey, this is Kenny here. Thanks so much for downloading our free report. By the way, it's going to be in your inbox in a couple minutes. While you're here, pitch front-end offer. Okay? So we acknowledge that they just put their information in. We tell them it's going to be there in a couple minutes. Then we say, by the way, while you're here, we also have this. The front-end offer pricing is much, much lower than what you guys are used to seeing. What we usually like to do here is something in the, I like to go as low as $1, really. But $5 to, $27 or something like that. But I'll go down to as low as $1 because really what this is, a term that you guys should be familiar with, is a segmentation sale. That's really what we're going for. We want to capture the audience in the lead magnet, and then we want to say, listen, right now, without thinking, without any kind of process, are you willing to put your credit card information in the internet or not? Very simple. Do you trust me yet enough to put in your credit card and pay me something? I don't care what it is. It doesn't matter. Because we just want to get over the hump of turning them from a free into a paid person. That's the only objective, okay? So we have the lead magnet first, we have the front end offer, or what we like to call segmentation sale second. If they say no to the lead magnet, they obviously get an exit pop on the page, right? So, no, I don't want this. So, hey, let's, click here to cancel. And then they go to another page and, we promised you the 27-page ebook on how to teach you this thing, but we also are going to throw in an MP3 that's an hour long. It's going to teach you the same stuff. So put your name and email address in, click submit, and get the PDF and the MP3 now, and you can listen to it on the go or whatever. They say no to that, then they get retargeted. Okay, you drop a retargeting pixel on their computer, and they get retargeted everywhere. So when they go to check the weather, or they go to, surf the internet, or look at the news or whatever, they're going to see us all over the place. And that's a really, really good way of bringing in traffic, because they're highly qualified leads to get into your funnel. And if they see you enough, most of the time they come back. Okay. There's a lot of technical stuff in that, and honestly, I don't know how to do it. I have no clue how to do it. I don't do it. I've never done it in my life, but there are plenty of people out there that can do it for you. And we use outside people to do it, because we just don't have. All right, so front end offer. They say no. 4-part email sequence. Now, they're already opted into our list, right? Now, it's very important to understand, they buy the front end offer, they get automatically put into one list that says front end offer buyers, right? Or whatever you want to name it, but it's a different list than the other list. If they say no, then they're left in the just lead magnet list. Those are all of our free people. They haven't bought anything from us yet, right? So the 4-part email sequence now drives traffic back to the front end offer. It gives me 4 more shots at building value, squashing objections, and asking them to buy. Okay, I always want to push back to that front end offer. I don't want to move forward yet. I want to push to the front end offer over and over and over again over a 4-day sequence. If they say no after 4 days, then you can do whatever you want. You can want affiliate offers, you can want more, different parts of your funnel, whatever. But at that point, it's all back to the front end offer, because remember, our only goal up until this point is to get them to spend some money with us. Because I've always told you guys over and over and over again, the hardest time to get money from someone is the first time. Once you get money from them once, you can take money from them as much as you want, and usually you can take as much money as you want as well. So you can continue to take money over and over again, and you can increase the price. And the reason why that is because before this part, they don't know who you are if you haven't proven yourself. If you blow them away with the lead magnet, and you blow them away with the front end offer, and you overpromise, right? Hype the crap out of it, but then also over deliver and wow the crap out of them, they'll be a customer for life. So on your front end offer, if you're promising 4 videos, you better have 10 ready. You also better have PDFs attached to that. You don't have to have 10 PDFs, but you have to have a couple checklists or whatever. And you might even want to throw in some MP3s to take with them. So promise them the 4 videos and overhype the 4 videos. They're the life-changing, greatest thing ever. And then when they get into the membership area, or when they get onto the download page, then they realize it's really 10. It's some PDFs and checklists attached, and it's MP3 downloads they can take with them. All right? So that's how that works. And that 4-part email sequence is always driving back to that front end offer. We're building value throughout that 4-part email sequence, and we're squashing objections as we go through it. Okay? Next, if they say no, they get retargeted again. Now they get retargeted back to the front end offer, not back to the lead magnet. Okay? So they say yes to the front end offer. They get led instantly to an OTO or an upsell, whatever you want to call it. Upsell number 1. They say no to that, they get led to downsell number 1. And if they say yes to the downsell, or they say yes to the upsell, they get led to upsell number 2. Okay? A lot of people make the mistake for some reason, and I see like 80% of the funnels that I look at that are built somewhat like this, if somebody goes through the funnel, they buy the front end offer, they say no to the OTO, and they buy the downsell, they deliver the information. That's a massive mistake. You're losing tons of money by doing that. Okay, if they say yes to the downsell, they should be led back up to the top row. There's no reason to take them out at that point. They've given you more money, so put them back in front of an offer that's going to take more money from them. I mean, it's just that simple. As long as you're increasing the value of your offers as you go along, and you're also increasing the price as you go along, then you're fine, right? You don't want to just randomly throw stuff in there for $500 that has no value whatsoever, but as long as you can create something that continuously increases the value while continuously increasing the price, then you're fine. You put them back into the top row, you present them with upsell number 2. If they say no to that, then they go on to the main offer. Okay, so they say no, they go down to the downsell again, it's the same process. And if they say yes to the downsell or the upsell, they go to the main offer. Now, those 2 green arrows at the end, right before the main offer, there's a break in the funnel there. And I couldn't really illustrate it on the slide, so I'm just going to talk about it and explain why this happens, right? Up until right now, our only goal was segmenting them out of the free list and putting them onto a paid list, right? But if they're going to pay us $1 on the front end offer and they're willing to take their credit card out and spend money, we might as well put in upsells because it's really easy to do and they convert very well, right? In Infusionsoft and whatever process you're using, a platform that you're using, it's very easy to just put one-click upsells in your funnel. It's like literally just moving a box around and putting a tag on it and just doing it. It's not that big of a deal at all. So why not take an extra 20 minutes or so and just create that out? If they're willing to put $1 on the table and take their credit card out, the chance of them spending $20 and then $97 through a sales funnel is highly likely. Okay, not all of them are going to do it, but a good percentage of them are. So that's our only goal up until this point. Now what we do is we have a 7-day break. Okay, it's a 7-day break. It's not 10 days, it's 7 days. And here's how the 7 days work. Day number 1, how are you liking everything? That's it. Day number 1, you got the stuff. You probably had some time to internalize it, go over, read the book, watch the videos, listen to the MP3s, whatever. Just want to check in with you, see if you liked it. Make sure you had, you didn't have any questions, have any problems, any concerns. If you do, here's my contact information. Let me know. That's it. Email number 1. Email number 2. Again, you've been through the training now for about 2 days, 2 or 3 days. I just wanted to touch base again. I know this stuff's kind of new, might be confusing you a little bit. We do our best to put all the information in there, but you have to understand, well, this is a little bit of a psychological play, but I'll explain it in a second. You have to understand, we do everything we can do to put everything in there, but we do this stuff every single day, inside and out, backwards and forwards. I could do it in my sleep. So sometimes I go through something real quick that might be brand new to you. It might be second nature to me, and it might confuse the hell out of you. So I want to make sure I'm avoiding that. So if you have any questions whatsoever, or if I confuse you at all, even in the slightest bit, feel free to contact us, and we'll answer your question and try to help you out as best we can. Done. Okay? I'm going to do basically the same thing in email number 3. The only difference is in email number 3, I'm going to say to them, if you have any feedback or anything that you'd like to see changed, we're always looking to improve what we provide. So please let us know if you think anything should be different. Okay, I'm looking for constructive criticism there, because that's not like a sales play. That's not there's nothing going on there. That's genuinely what I'm looking for. Because if I have a group of 1,000 people inside of my front end offer, and 200 of them are like, dude, the second video sucks. Like, I don't even know what you're saying. You're confusing the hell out of everybody. It's terrible. But I have to go in and fix that. Right? So I need that constructive criticism to come back so I can find out where the bugs are inside the system. All right? So that's day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7, selling the main offer. Okay? So basically what I'm going to do in day number 1, I'm not going to break down all these emails for you, but because they're always changing depending on what offer it is that we're actually promoting, but I'll give you the basic breakdown. Email number 1, I'm going to tell them, since you liked this so much, we also have this. Here's what it is. Bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. We have a free video explaining the whole thing for you. Here it is. Okay, that's option number 1. Option number 2 for day number 1 is straight up, just wanted to shoot you a quick email. We created a brand new video about this, 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 and this. Benefit, 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 benefit. You can watch it right here. Click the link. It'll autoplay for you. Have a nice day. Okay, now that video is going to be a sales video selling the main offer. Okay, email number 2, day number 5. I'm going to go to them and I'm going to say, I don't know if you saw the email I sent you yesterday, but we created this free video for you that's going to teach you this, this, and this, and it's going to give you this benefit, this benefit, this benefit, and this benefit. And if you scroll into the video at 14 minutes and 35 seconds, I go into this particular thing that a lot of people have been telling me that they have an issue with. So click this link, autoplay the video, it'll autoplay right on your screen for you. You can watch it and let me know what you think. Next day, I'm starting to sell hard, right? Buy this now, it's going away, we're taking stuff away, we're only letting a certain number of people in. I don't know when it's going to close. And then the last day, the response has been amazing. It's overwhelming. I can't keep up with the emails. The server is crashing. Everybody loves it. Here's a testimonial. Here's a testimonial. Here's a testimonial. Here's a video somebody made for us. Click here. Get involved. It's going away forever for you tomorrow. Now, that last part, a lot of people will question. It's going away forever. Is it? No. Is it going away forever for them? Well, yeah, because after they get out of that 7-day sequence, it's over. I'm never going to email them again about it. So for them, it is going away forever. They're never going to get contacted about it again, but next group is. Okay, so I can say that. I feel comfortable, check with your attorneys or whatever, but I feel comfortable saying that. I've never had a problem with it because I'm never going to put that offer in front of them again. If they happen to find it on the internet somewhere, fine. That's fine. But I'm never going to put that offer in front of them again. All right, so that's the main offer. I went through all of that already, so if they say no, they go through a 4-part email sequence. The 4-part email sequence is the sales part of it. The 3 days before that is the just checking up with them, a little bit of support, building value with them and stuff like that. If they say no to the 4-part, to the main offer, whether it's on the sales page or through the email sequence, what we do is we drop another retargeting pixel on them and put it in front of them again. If they say yes to the main offer, they go on to upsell number 1. If they say no to that, they go to downsell number 1. If they say yes to either one of those, they go to upsell number 2. If they say no to that, they go to downsell number 2. Now, if you look, I said before in the beginning, this is big and it's confusing. There's a lot of arrows going on. It gets crazy. But if you look at the front end offer and the main offer, they're exactly the same, right? There's no difference between the two of them. The products are different. The sales process is a little bit different, like what you're saying in the sales presentations and stuff like that. That's different. But the funnel creation itself is offer, upsell, downsell, upsell, downsell. Offer, upsell, downsell, upsell, downsell, right? With a 4-part email sequence and a retargeting pixel dropped on the main portion, the entry point of the process. Okay, so it's the same thing, just created twice. So after they get through the main offer, they move on to what we call, you guys know this, or you should know it, the profit, right, where we make all of our money. Because up to this point, we didn't make anything, pretty much. We might pocket a little bit of money, but we haven't really made anything because we're subsidizing all of our traffic costs, our shopping cart, our payment processing, everything else. We're paying JVs like crazy for all this stuff. So up to this point, we haven't made anything. But the only reason why we do any of this stuff is to get people onto the webinar, right? Now, those arrows are not necessarily correct, okay? Ideally, we would want somebody on the webinar who has been through this entire process and has said yes to OTO number 2 or downsell number 2. Ideally, that's our best customer on the webinar. Not because they bought so much from us already. They've already spent so much money with us, so getting another $500 out of them for a massively valuable course is easy. But, in all honesty, every person on our email list gets invited to a webinar. It's just the way it is, right? You guys know that. Everybody on our list gets invited to the webinar. So, that's how we do it. The traffic that we use for this, oh wait, hold on, sorry. Webinar, they have a replay, which you guys know. They say no to the webinar offer. We're going to go into this in detail in the next slide, but they say no to the webinar offer, they get presented a replay, and that replay leads back to the webinar, over and over and over again. Okay, it's usually, 7 days long or 6 days long. All right, so all of our traffic is going to come from, like I said, it's going to be paid traffic. It's going to be Facebook, LinkedIn, Google PPC ads, Bing PPC ads. We're going to buy some emails, not really solo ads, because that's a joke in my opinion. Not a joke, but it has to be done a different way. When I'm talking about buying email traffic is like, we could go to like a place like Business Insider or Forbes magazine. They may be a little bit too big for us, but places like that, places that have 100, 200, 300,000 people on their email list, pay them money to send out an ad for us. Okay, so a lot of traffic can come in that way. Hop on a podcast, be a guest on a podcast. That could drive a lot of traffic to your all. Whatever it is, however you're getting the traffic, there's thousands of different ways. It all leads to the lead magnet, and all of this stuff is automatically attached. The whole entire thing is automated. It takes a long time to create in the beginning. It might take you a week or two just to put the funnel together, not necessarily creating the information. That'll probably take you longer, but just actually connecting all the dots can take you a little bit of time to do. But once you have it done one time, your only job is to create traffic to the lead magnet. Once you do that, you walk away. Now, one other thing I want to talk about really quickly before we move on to the next slide, and I know I'm going a little bit long here, but it's good information. You guys are going to like it. There's a numbers game here. Okay, you guys know I'm a salesperson. I hate that term. But there is a numbers game at play, right? Once you have a sample size of 1,000 people, the more the better, but 1,000 is the minimum. Once you have a sample size of 1,000 people that have gone through this funnel, you are going to know within about a point or two or maybe three what your numbers are going to look like throughout the entire thing. Okay, so if your lead magnet is converting at 35% on your first 1,000 people, it's not going to drop to 10. It may drop to 32 or 33. It may go up to 36 or 37 for a week or whatever, but it's always going to stay in that range. Okay. Your front end offer gets presented right after they opt in. Once you have 1,000 people, if that thing's converting at 20%, it's not going to go down to 5. It may go down to 18, 19 or something like that. It may go up to 21, 22, but it's not going to be cut in a fourth, right? It's not going to go down to 5 or 4%. Same applies to all of these. So once you know the numbers throughout the funnel, then you just say to yourself, okay, break it down to the smallest possible size that you have. So sample size of 1,000, but break it down to 100. So let's just say the lead magnet is converting at 30%, right? And my goal is to get 30 new people into the funnel every single day. How many people do I need to drive? 100 people every day, right? If I want to get 300 opt-ins, I got to drive 1,000 people or whatever the numbers are. I'm terrible at math. But you guys, I think you guys get it. Once you have the numbers across the entire thing, all you do is just figure out how much you want to make, apply the numbers across the funnel, and then say, okay, in order to make $5,000 every day, I need to get 5,000 people or 6,000 people to come to the lead magnet page. And you can find those 5,000 people like stupid easily. On Facebook, there's billions of people. LinkedIn, hundreds of millions of people. You could find email lists all over the place. You can get JV partners that you could do stuff with. You could be a guest on one podcast and get tens of thousands of people opt into your thing right from, the podcast. So there's a number of different ways to do it. But once you have the numbers down as your baseline, it's just all a matter of putting the right amount of people in front of the offer. Now, obviously, different traffic is going to convert in a different way, so you got to keep that in mind. But really, once you get that baseline down, you just do what I call play the game. I have it written down here right in front of me because I was doing a video, a direct-to-camera video for something else. Play the game, know the sample size, know your numbers, and then just work through it. Okay, so let's go through the webinar stuff. Webinar sequence. This is a little bit different because this is not a sales funnel. This is actually an email sequence. And I'm going to be honest with you, this is stuff that I did not really create myself. All of the emails I write myself, but the actual process is kind of like a mixture of Mike Filsame stuff, who obviously has been a huge mentor of mine, someone that taught me a lot of what I know about the internet stuff. Another one, Brendan Burchard, who I never really met in person. I never really spoken to him, but he's been a mentor of mine as well when it comes to creating webinar content and how the flow goes and all that. Lewis Howe is another one, webinar flow and sequencing and email copy and all that. when it comes to webinars. So it's kind of a mixture of all that, and I kind of just made it into my own little thing. And there's one little Dan Kennedy piece in there that I'll talk to you guys about in a second. All right, so here we go. Email number 1. Now remember, all of these people, if it's a Warrior Plus webinar, everyone bought from us. If it's a webinar that's off Warrior Plus in the second funnel, maybe 30% of the entire. Okay, so just keep that in mind for now. The first email we're going to send is drive to register. Hey, we're holding a free Q&A session. Hey, we're holding a free presentation on this type, topic. We're going to cover these 17 things. Here's the registration button. It's free. You can take it to the comfort of your own home. It's going to be about an hour and 15 minutes long. Register now. We only have 1,000 seats or 500 seats or 100 seats, whatever. All right, that's basically how that works. Drive to register. Second, drive to register again. The way that we do this is we say, the online seminar is coming up in 2 days or 3 days, or whatever it is. We're running out of spots. This is not up to us. This is up to the platform that we use to go to webinar. They limit us on the amount of people that can sit in the room at a specific time. We only have about 30 or 40 seats left. So here's the button. Go to register now. Click it. Register. Whatever. We're going to cover these 7 things. You're going to get a lot of value out of it. It's about an hour and 15 minutes long. Go. And obviously, that's not the email copy, but I'm just giving you the basic idea of what I'm trying to get across in each and every email that we write. So, next, drive to attend. This is where we're going to do some sort of like indoctrination, right? We're going to give them with videos that are going to show them what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be giving them PDFs that show them what we're going to be talking about. We're going to give them checklists. A lot of times what I like to do, I'm going to open up both of these because there's 2 of them. Yeah, there's 2 of them. So one could be a video, one could be a PDF. One of the things that I like to do a lot is give away some of the slides in the webinar. I don't do that for the Warrior Plus audience, but I do it a lot for outside of the Warrior Plus audience. And the reason why is because the Warrior Plus audience generally knows that if you go on a webinar, you're going to get sold something. So I don't really need to, go crazy with it. But people outside of that audience really don't know that. So I can give them part of the slide presentation, and I do that often, and it works really well. That increases attendance by a lot. Next thing I'm going to do is last chance. Another drive to attend. So I'm going to tell them, listen, the online seminar is coming up in 24 hours, starting tomorrow night. We're going to do it live. We're going to do it live one time. So make sure you attend. This is unlike anything you've ever seen before. Again, you're going to learn these 5 things. I'm going to go into them in depth. It's going to be about an hour and 15 minutes long, and I'm going to answer every question that comes in. So click the button now. Register. We only have a couple seats left. Once the seats are taken, they're gone. It's over. Okay. One other thing I say here is, and this is something that you guys definitely heard me say before through email. Just because you register does not mean you get a seat. Seats are given out first come, first serve. You must register, and you must show up 15 minutes early. This is vitally important. This is more about creating a webinar, so I don't want to get too far off track, but having them show up 15 minutes early is make or break for your webinar. Okay? Not only because everyone's always late. The real reason why you want to do that is because pre-webinar banter is unbelievable when it comes to an hour and 15 minutes later asking for a credit card number. It really is. When you look at me and Cameron's numbers, you will see at least a 2% increase in conversion rate on a live call from when we used to start off with, hey, it's 9 o'clock, we're getting going, to me and him talking about like, oh, how'd the Chicago move go? Or like whatever, let's shoot this one. Like whatever. We just do that small talk in the beginning. And the reason why that works so well is because it humanizes us to the audience. And that's not us. That's everyone who's on the other side of the computer. So when I say it humanizes us, what I'm saying is if you're on the presentation side, you're a mystical hero figure. It doesn't matter if you have 3 people on the call or 3 million people on the call. It doesn't matter. To whoever is on the call, you're like, they're envisioning somebody on a stage speaking to an audience of millions of people. You're the expert of the experts at that point. Okay? There's nothing more powerful than speaking to a live audience. Nothing. So when you become that person, doesn't matter how many people are on the call, you have to find a way to humanize yourself and kind of I don't want to say bring you down to their level, because you don't want to do that. Remember, status is very important. And when you're selling something, it's all about status. You always want to stay above the people that you're selling to. You don't want to be arrogant about it, but you want to stay above them, because you have to be the person that's guiding them and consulting them and teaching them what they need to know. So you have to do that, but you also have to connect with them on some level. So if me and Cameron go on and we start talking about, you know, I go on to a little fishing story, and we talk about shooting, and we talk about Cameron's move and what he's doing in Chicago, and, you know, whatever, the snowstorm, like whatever it is, it kind of gives the feeling like, wow, these guys are just regular people just hanging out, talking to us. But it still keeps the high expectation and the quote-unquote expert or authority thing going, okay? And then what happens is at 9 o'clock, usually you'll hear Cameron come on and say, all right, guys, it's 9 o'clock, we'll give the people another like 2 or 3 minutes before they, you know, before we get started. And then he'll talk for a little bit, I may jump in a little bit, and then it's right into it, right? What you guys don't know, well, you may know it, but it's not very obvious to someone who, especially who's been to one of our webinars for the first time. What you guys don't know is that even the pre-webinar banter is completely planned out. It's not scripted, but we know what we're going to do before we start. So we say, okay, we're going to start at 8:45. First thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about your move to Chicago. I want to talk about a little bit about your new place, and just, you know, talk a little bit about it. The internet sucks. Let's talk about that, joke about it a little bit. Okay, cool. Now we're going to talk about, you know, I went out fishing the other day. I was standing out on a rock at Montauk, and I almost killed myself and broke my leg. You guys saw the video yesterday if you watched the first video, right? So we'll talk about that for a minute. It's a little bit of a funny story. So we'll talk about that for a second. Then we'll move on to this, and we'll take a couple questions, right? Then it'll probably be about 5 to 9, so we'll tell them we're going to start in a couple minutes, and a couple people are going to come on a little bit late, so we'll give them a couple minutes to come on. And what I'm going to do at that point is share my screen and put up the first slide. Then you're going to talk for a couple minutes, then I'll jump in a little bit. Then at 9:02, we go. You mute your mic, you leave, I pitch, you come back, Q&A, done. So it's all planned. Everything is planned out. And the reason why we do it that way is because if it's not planned out, we don't know where we're screwing up. It's just like a phone pitch, right? You guys hear me talk about this all the time. It's just like a phone pitch. If you're calling someone on the phone and you're winging it, and you're losing your audience at 30 seconds, you don't know what you're saying because you're saying something different every time. Same thing with a webinar. If you're just winging it and you're not scripted, 100% scripted, then you don't know where you're creating disconnect. So you have to be 100% scripted, because if you start losing your audience at a certain time, you know that there's something wrong at that point. A little bit of a tangent there, but it was important, so you guys got it. All right, so the email that we come out next with is we're live. This is about right when we're going to start. So I'll send this email out. I'll schedule it about 8:45 p.m., maybe 8:40 p.m., or maybe even 8:50, just to make sure that the room is open. Because I want them to click that registration button, put the information in, and be live on the call that's hearing us talk. All right, so the room has to be open when that is going on. That's the last email that we send. Then we move on to the live call. Okay, the webinar is live. We're on there. Anyone who's coming in now is hearing us talk, and we're going. Here's the Dan Kennedy portion of the webinar presentation. This is actually a genius idea that I had never even thought of doing in my life until I was on a live call with a guy named Dave D, who's, I believe, the chief marketing officer for GKIC. He's a great guy. He's very, very good at selling. He's a very good webinar presenter, and he creates great products as well. I was on a call with him, and all of a sudden, at about, I think it was like 2 in the afternoon or something, 45 minutes after the webinar started, I get an email in my inbox saying, just want to let you guys know, Dan is going to start talking about writing the best headline ever. Don't miss this next 5 minutes of this call. If you're not on, click this button and get on now. You can leave after he's done talking about it, but if you miss this 5 minutes on headlines, you're going to regret it for the rest of your life. Click the button here and go. He's sending out emails right before they start to pitch to the entire list. And what happens is they're going to miss the presentation, right? Because we're doing this right before we're going to start to close the deal. So they're going to miss the presentation, but they're going to get the pitch, okay? So when we started doing this, we saw a spike of about 15%, not in conversion, but in the amount of people that came in right before we pitched. So easy numbers. We have 100 people on the call the entire time. I'm going to start to do the transition, and you guys saw this. You guys know what it is. The transition between we're teaching, now we're going to start to sell. And usually you'll know when that starts when we say something like, or when I say something like, you know, Cameron and I put together a 6-week interactive training program that's going to teach you blah, 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 right? That's when I start to do the transition. So when that happens, sometimes, not every webinar, but sometimes we will have an email that goes out that says, we're going to talk about this amazing thing. Don't miss it. Here it is. Get involved. Come on and listen to it. And we've seen about a 15% spike in attendance at that time. So we have 100 people on the call the entire time. Right when we send that email out, 2 minutes later, we have 115 people on now seeing our pitch and seeing our offer. Okay? So that's very important. A little inside tip that nobody does that I know of besides Dan Kennedy's group and us. I don't see anyone else doing it. So if you want to give that a shot, you can. So the webinar is over. Live call, 12%, maybe 10%, depending on the price and depending on how on I am that night, and you know, depending on the questions. It depends on a whole bunch of different stuff. But our numbers are never below 10 and very rarely above 12. You know, so it's in that range all the time. So that's what we get on the live call. Then we go through replays. We're notoriously known for being terrible with replays. We just are. Like, our replays come out 3 days after the webinar's over, and it's really bad. Your replay should come out no later than 24 hours after the webinar's over. We very rarely do that. And the reason why we don't do that is because, honestly, we just have so much stuff that we do on a day-to-day basis, and so many videos that we have to record, and so many videos that we have to cut, edit, and produce, that even though Cameron has like 18 computers around his office, I have 2 or 3 computers around my office. There's no possible way that we could do it because all of our stuff is taken up. You can only run Camtasia one time. If I have a video in there that's coming out, it's in there and coming out until it's done. So I have to prioritize what I got to do. So sometimes the camera's the same way. So sometimes the replays come out, 48 hours later, 72 hours later, and that's really bad. If you got to try to do everything that you can to get it out the next day. All right, it's going to be a massive file, especially if you do webinars like us that sometimes last 3 hours long. It's going to be a massive file. You're going to have to convert that file, put it into Camtasia, edit it, cut out some stuff, whatever. It'll take you a long time to do it, maybe 2 or 3 hours just to do it. And then you have to export it, which is going to take you all night. Export it and go to sleep. It's going to take you hours. Then you got to put it up somewhere to host it. Then you got to build the page on Lead Pages or whatever you're going to do. So it's a process, okay? But you got to try to do that as quickly as possible. So that's the first email that goes out. Again, our goal is 24 hours, but we rarely, if ever, hit that. And that's just a very basic email saying, hey, listen, you might have missed the call last night, or you might have, missed some parts of it. The replay is now up and live. You can watch it. It's only going to be up for a couple days. Here's the link. Watch it now. Next email is going to be basically the same thing. I don't know if you saw the email yesterday, but the replay is now live from the call that we did. We talked about these 5 things in great detail. The feedback was amazing. Here's the replay. Go check it out. One of the things I like to do, too, and this really depends on your audience size, so be careful with this one. If we have a lot of people on a call, let's say we have like 700 people on a call, right, which for us would be a good number. We have 700 people on a call, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to lead off that email with, we had 725 people on the call last night, and the feedback was absolutely amazing. If I can, I'm going to point to a testimonial. I'm going to say, Jim said, quote, boom. Tom said, quote, boom, right? If I can do that, I will. Let's say your attendance sucked for some reason. So let's say you had 100 people on the call, right? Your attendance was really bad. But you had 800 people register. Your email's going to say, the webinar last night absolutely blew me away. We had over 800 people register for the call, and it was amazing. Here's some of the feedback that we got. Joe said, testimonial, boom, right? That's You can do it either way. I play it either way. So that's the first 2 emails. Then we just go right into the replays going away. You know, you don't have to give a specific time, but we're going to say, you know, the replay is coming down very, very shortly. If you haven't seen it yet, you must go there now and take a look at it, because we're going to be taking it down in a couple days. Last chance to see the replay. It's never going to be up there again, so here it is. And then we give away a bonus, and then I go crazy and do my thing. This is like the first time in the whole entire sequence that I just take off the chains and just start hammering away, because this is the last chance we have to make money from them, right? So I mean, they could come to another webinar later on or whatever, but I'm really going to smash it home when it's the where done thing. You know, like, listen, you've tried everything. You bought every WSO in the world. You bought every ClickBank product in the world, and there's a reason why you're still reading the emails, and the reason is because everything you've done sucked. You're still broke. Your life is miserable. Your wife or husband probably hate you. You hate your job. You hate the people you work with. You hate your commute. So stop being a bitch and do something about it. The wording might be different. I'll be honest. It might be. But that's what I want to try to get across, right? And that's the first time in this entire sequence when it comes to a webinar that I'm really starting to smack them. Because it's the last chance. So you might as well, right? You're going to lose them anyway. So you might as well give it all you got. 2 more things I wanted to talk about. Oh, 1 more thing I wanted to talk about. Buttons. The great button debate. I've been through this a number of times with a number of different people, and everyone has different opinions on it. But I'll tell you my opinion on the button, the whole button thing. And what I'm talking about, too, for those of you who don't know, when does the button go up on a particular replay? Your numbers are going to vary differently depending on when the buttons go up. If you put the button up at the wrong time for the wrong audience, you're not going to convert anything. If you put the button up for the right time for the right audience, you're going to smash it every time. With Infusionsoft, this is very, very easy to do. And the reason why it's so easy on Infusionsoft is because they tag people. So I can set up a webinar sequence inside of Infusionsoft that says, okay, my webinar is 90 minutes long, right? At 60 minutes, I start to present the offer. So tag somebody who was on the call for less than 60 minutes and put them on a list that says they didn't see the offer. Step number 1, right? Step number 2 is my webinar is 90 minutes long. I begin to pitch at 60 minutes. So if somebody's on the call from 60 minutes to 90 minutes or more than 60 minutes, put them on list SAW offer, right? And then we have the last one, which is, or this would actually be the first one, but I didn't explain it yet. So we have another list that says, our webinar is 90 minutes long. If somebody registered on this list but didn't show up at this webinar on this list, put them on this list that says they didn't show up. Okay, so we have 2 lists that never saw the offer. They don't know that we're selling anything. They don't know what it is. So for those people, what we're going to do is the first 3 boxes, replay live, replay going away. Actually, the first 4 boxes, I'm sorry. Live, going away, last chance. There's not going to be a button underneath the video. The webinar is going to have to play out live the whole entire time for them to see the offer. Okay, they're going to have to buy just like everybody else. They're going to go to a link. Sometimes I'll put a button up when I start to present. So maybe on the last 2, replays going away and last chance, I'm going to put a button up, and you can just delay a button in lead pages, just delay it however long you want. So at 61 minutes when I start to present, they'll see a button underneath, click here to get involved now, or invest today, or whatever. But I'm not going to do that from the beginning. When the bonus comes out and it's the where done email, those last 2, then the button is going to be up on the page instantly, right away. And the reason why, again, is because at that point I'm not messing around anymore. Right now it's just about getting our EPCs up as much as I possibly can. I want to make sure that that dollar per lead number is high, because that's the number that's going to attract the JV partners that we need. Dollar per lead is the most important number you're going to have. All right, so that's basically how that works. List number 2, they saw the offer and didn't buy. I'm going to be honest with you. The email sequence is different. I'm still going to do replay live, going away, last chance bonus. We're done. I'm still going to do that. But the content inside of the email is different in all of them because they know that we have a product to offer them. And for some reason, they didn't buy it. So I'm going to throw things in like, just want to let you know, I know you were on the call last night, and I know that you saw the whole thing, and I just wanted to see some feedback and, see if you liked it or you didn't like it. Just let me know, right? I know they saw the offer and they didn't buy it for some reason. Now I'm trying to fish out why that is. I do that for 2 reasons. Number 1, I want to try to overcome it right away, right? And number 2, I want to try to overcome it permanently. So if I get a lot of people writing me back that say, I didn't buy it because the price was too high. Over and over and over and over and over again. We see that as a common theme, right? One of 2 things is wrong. Either wrong audience, or the value is just not there to support the price that we're selling for, right? So there's a couple of things we can do. We can change the pricing structure, we can change the audience, or we can change the value of the product so we can add more stuff or whatever. So that's basically how that works. And it's the same theme all throughout for the most part. It's like, we know we offered it to you and we know you didn't buy it. Why and how do we beat that, right? The whole entire time, from the first email to the last email, they go on to the webinar, they start the webinar, and there's a buy now button underneath the replay. Okay, for all of those people, for everyone who saw the offer, the button is instant. For those who didn't see the offer, the button is delayed, or it's not there at all, and they have to wait till the link comes up. Go here to this URL and buy it now. They have to wait for that point in order to get it. If they didn't show up, it's the same thing as people who showed up and didn't see the offer. The emails are exactly the same. Okay. Now, with services like Aweber, with services like GetResponse or MailChimp or whatever else that you're using, this is a little bit harder to do. There are some services out there that make it easier, other than Infusionsoft. I have a little bit of bias to this program, but Webinar Jam is one of them. Webinar Jam is a great service. We don't really use it because I hate Google Hangouts. So does Cameron. But Webinar Jam has a great email sequence built into it. And that's really about the only one that I've mentioned because I don't really know any other. I haven't really been inside of any other ones that I can speak about. Evergreen Business Systems was really good back in the day, but I don't really think it's supported all that much anymore. So, you might want to look into that. But Webinar Jam, if I was going to do something other than Infusionsoft, that's the one that I would use to run my emails with. All right. So, another one too is ClickFunnels by Russell Brunson. ClickFunnels is very, very good, but that's more of an automated webinar thing. They do have live webinars in there, but the live webinar like sequencing that you can do. But the automated webinar stuff in ClickFunnels is amazing, and they have email sequencing as well. You have to attach a SendGrid account or Amazon email account or whatever. You have to have a way to send the emails, but you can sequence them out just like I'm telling you here with the tags and everything else. Infusionsoft is the best way to go. It's expensive. It's really hard to learn. It's a freaking nightmare. But once you get it going, it's unbelievable. Your business is completely automated once you set it up the right way, and you never have to worry about anything again besides driving traffic to the front end of the offer. So I want to go back to that for a second. I got to get rid of all these boxes. If you have all this stuff set up, okay, stop right there. If you have all this stuff set up, the webinar is done. You can even have an automated webinar if you want, depending on what industry you're in. You can even have a quote-unquote live automated webinar. I have a friend of mine named Eli who runs a company called Webinar Wizards who will present a video as if it were a live GoToWebinar webinar, and you would not know the difference no matter what. You can watch our webinars 25 times, and you would not know if they were Eli doing it or if it was us doing it. You would not know. It's exactly the same thing as a live call. Okay, what we do in those situations, and we don't do it anymore. We did it a couple times, in the past, but we don't really use it that much for the Warrior Plus audience. What we would do is we would have Eli run the beginning part of the webinar, the banter, the teaching, and then the presentation and the offer and the close. We would have him run through that, and then what would happen is usually hear somebody say like, "Okay, now I'm just gonna take a quick second and go grab a drink of water, or I'm going to just, hit the bathroom. We've been on here for like an hour and a half. Just going to hit the bathroom real quick, or, get a bottle of soda, whatever. And then I'll come back and get some Q&A. So if you guys want to take a quick break, go ahead and do so now. We'll be back in a couple seconds to get the Q&A. The reason why they're doing that is because they're switching from the video to the live presentation now. So they're only on for the Q&A, and that's what Eli does. He's a really good friend of mine. He works a lot of webinars with me, and he's really good at doing it. Once you have all that set up, if you have an automated webinar, you do absolutely nothing. If you don't, you got to do the webinar once a week or once every other week or whatever. But once it's all set up and it's automated, your only job is to drive traffic to one page. And that's the beauty of it. That's the greatest thing about it. Once it's done, your only responsibility is putting traffic on the lead magnet and increasing the conversion of the lead magnet as high as possible. Once you know the numbers of the front end offer, segmentation sale, the OTOs, the main offer, and the webinar presentation, just try to get the lead magnet as high as possible, because once you do that, the rest of the numbers are just going to fall in line. All right? So that's basically it. I know it's a long video, but it's a lot of value in here. If you guys watch this a couple times, you probably pick up some other stuff that you missed on the first run through. If you can create something like this, and any one of you can do it, because it's very, very easy. You may have to try it a couple times. You may have to watch the video a couple times. I know we didn't go into the technical stuff, but that's a whole nother beast that I can't tackle because I don't do it. So that stuff might be a little tricky. You might need a little help with that. Cameron can walk you through that stuff, but for now, just focus on this, why we're doing it, how we do it, and the psychological aspect of the process. Okay? You set this up, you're set forever. You just drive traffic to the front end of the offer, play the numbers game, and you're good to go. All right? So that's it for this video. Tonight what we're going to do is we're going to have a video on results that we've seen from us and results that we've seen from certain coaching students that we have and partners that we have that we've taken from nothing. And I don't want to call them nothing because they're great people, but they had no background in product creation. They had no name on the internet. They had no JV partners. They had no list. They had nothing when it comes to an internet, business or anything like that. And the one person that we're going to highlight tonight is the guy named Lee, who I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. Nothing to $30,000 in 7 days. And, he did it without our email support. He did it with just our, help and coaching and guidance. So we're going to go through that tonight. And you can put below this thing here, we're going to have, I'm going to just fast forward through this really quickly. Below this, we are going to have a button. You can click that button, put your email address in. If you want the results video, we'll send it to you. If not, that's fine too. You got enough information here to last you a pretty long time. And if you input this stuff, you'll have your own results. So you don't have to really worry about our results. But if you want to see proof that this works, undeniable proof that this works, you're still questioning it for some reason, put the email address in, get the results video. We're going to go through a lot in that as well, and you'll learn a lot from that one. So that's later on tonight. If you have any questions about this one, you can let us know. If not, we'll see you tonight.
Is that building, or where is the building?